Words matter, right? That's not a wild, amazing, eye-opening statement. We all know words matter. But also, there are times where you have like some prosecutor or someone and then they're talking and you're like, why are you talking in legalese? Why don't you talk like a person? Why are you seemingly removing the humanity from your statements? And well, unfortunately, we have a horrible example of why in today's news. With that, starting with a 22-year-old William Jacobs checking himself into a motel in Canyon City, Colorado, where he meets 21-year-old Brooke Crawford, a single mother who works at the front desk and lives in one of the rooms. Right, and so they meet, they immediately start dating, and within days, Jacobs moves in with Crawford, which in part, she thinks is great because all of a sudden she's like, oh my gosh, I got this guy that can babysit my 10-month-old son, Edward Hayes, while she works. But then comes one day where first responders get a call and they show up to the couple's room where they find Edward unresponsive. With Jacobs, according to the affidavit, initially claiming that he was changing the baby's diaper when Edward went stiff and began making gargling noises. But then notably, he also allegedly confessed to abusing the child at least a couple of times before. And experts later testified that the baby's injuries were non-accidental based on their severity and pattern, with Edward getting rushed to the hospital where he ended up dying and Jacobs being arrested and charged with first-degree murder, which is normally where a story like this would end. But then in walks in District Attorney Linda Stanley to fuck everything up. Because instead of doing the regular standard professional thing, which is in place for a reason, she gave an interview to a local news outlet, KRDO, and basically shit-talked Jacobs on camera.
I'm going to be very blunt here. He has zero investment in this child. Zero. He's watching that baby so he can get laid. That's it. And have a place to sleep. I'm sorry to be that blunt, but honest to God, that's what's going on.
Right, so in short, she called him a fuckboy. But that then led to the judge ruling that those comments violated Jacobs' due process because they prejudiced the jury pool. And so for that reason, the charges against him got dismissed, meaning that this alleged baby killer now just walks away scot-free. And as for Stanley, she's the only one that might face a punishment. She's now facing an ethics complaint and potential disbarment. And as it turns out, not just for this, but also for inappropriate public remarks that she made in another murder case. But as far as potential justice for anyone else, that remains to be seen.